Hey, hello creative minds. Welcome to Creative Skills Society's YouTube channel. Today we are going to learn pulling action in Animate CC. This tutorial is little advanced tutorial. If you are new for Animate CC, I recommend check out our advanced playlist. In that playlist, you will find basic tutorials of Animate CC as well as drawing tutorials. So I strongly recommend check out those two first and then come to this tutorial. This tutorial will come into two parts. First one is basic preparation for character animation. The second one is animation with classical tween and symbol. Watch the entire video. In the end, there is a tip which will help you for your career. So let's start.
For this animation, I'm going to use Animate CC. There are several techniques in Animate CC where animators do animation. Few are frame by frame animation, motion tween, rig animation, and there are few others. But today we are going to use motion tween technique, which is called limited animation as well. To begin with, I'll pick full HD size. There are lots of other sizes, but we will go with full HD size. Now I'm going to pick this image. I like this character which I got from freepik.com. Now when you download it, you will get vector formats. To create animation, we have to do some preparation which is very important. So let's understand the process. So right now we have SVG file. I'm dragging and dropping it. So once it came, it will give you this pop-up. Everything will come in group. So here we have our characters. So right now we are going to work with only this guy. So let me delete other objects. So this is called layouting. In production, we place it properly. There will be a background, but right now we are not going to use any background. So now it is good to go for animation. So as I mentioned, we are going to use classical tween. So let's convert it into symbol. Let's name it properly, pulling man. Your symbol has to be graphic. So I'm inside the symbol. Now let's convert this man into symbol, F8. Let's name it man. Now I'm into symbol and let's break it, Control B.
Now we have each and every element different. For character animation, we need to organize it. We need to do proper dissection and few adjustments to start our animation. So this is one of very important step to start the animation. So for example, let's talk about this head. Now there are two layers. One is back hair and front one is head and hairs. We need to separate it out because whenever we are doing rotation, so at that time neck will be visible. Between hairs and head, neck will be there and it will be visible. So we have to keep back hair on back layer, and that's why I'm cutting the entire patch into two. One is for front layer, another one is for back side.
So here I am doing all adjustments.
Make sure graphic should not be changed or that form should not be changed. I'm taking that precaution. Now moving ahead, let's work on other parts.
Now let's separate this hand. Let's make it group. Let's make second group of this hand and palm. After that, torso or shirt. Let's make it group. Let's keep this tie separately. Back hand.
Now let's work on legs. Let's dissect them. I'm adding extra curve. The reason is whenever the motion is or wherever the movement will happen, so these curves will cover that action.
I am adding shadows inside base color, so it will stay together. So like this I am making a group of shadow and base color, and it will move like this. Now let's work on other leg.
If there is a movement, we'll get some extra margin. So that's why I'm keeping extra curves over there.
Now let's separate waist and thigh.
Doing some adjustments. Whenever there are shadows for the character, one tone or two tone, so at that time it is important to work on basic shape as well as shadows. You have to maintain the shadow joints and that basic body form. Again, I am highlighting, I am not changing the design, I am just working on dissection.
Now let's combine these 2-3 objects which he is pulling, so we can reduce layer as well and it will stay together. Now we are done with dissection. Now we'll move ahead to conversion of symbols. For animate CC, if we are using classical tween, this is one of important step. Now to convert it into symbol, we have to distribute the layers. So Ctrl Shift D for distribute layers. Now each and every element is on different layer. We have to optimize it. So let's check, let's close eye, or let's move some object. So over here this is head. Pressing F8 to convert it into symbol. Name it properly as per body part, and it has to be graphic. It may take some extra time, but for long run it will definitely help. So give exact name to the symbol. Now here is an example how you can name it. So for leg, left leg, leg 1, left leg 2, left leg 3, or leg 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is how you can give the names to the symbol. After completing human figure, let's focus on weight or back objects. Now we are done with symbols. Now I am selecting all symbols and pressing Ctrl Shift D. Now see, all layers got the naming which we gave while we did the symbol. Now this layer have original name, which means apart from symbol there is other object. It can be group or shape. So this one is shadow. So right now let's keep it as it is.
For the next shadow, we are going to use shape tween because it's a flexible object. So keeping it on separate layer with proper layer name. This customization will take some time, but trust me, it is very essential step to do animation in the right way. Now next step will be setting up pivot point or anchor point.
Useful tutorial? Yes. So then quickly click on subscribe button if you have not done up till now. So let's continue.
After converting a symbol, this will be the important step. For this step, you have to observe your own body parts from where it's rotating, then it become easy. To set pivot point, I am using free transformation tool. The short key is Q. Another important thing, this is a basic concept which is required in any character animation software. It can be 2D softwares or it can be 3D softwares. Over there you have to do rig, but the thought process will be similar. So understand this process properly. For next shadow, we are not going to set pivot point because we are using shape tween for shadow animation. Now it's time to check all rotation points which we already set. Now first let's check waist, because in this animation this guy is going to walk, so it's an important object in this animation. So we'll start with waist. Now here are some breaks and gaps, so let's fix it first. It is always better to fix all these technical issues in the pre-production or before you start the animation. Otherwise, it becomes a headache once you start the production. So, in the beginning only, fix all these issues. Here, one thing I want to mention, I am not saying to change the character. according to storyboard or according to your task, according to the animation, check that pose before you start the animation. I'm taking care of all small details, small corners, so that it should not look unfinished. Checking all possible positions which are required. Now we are good to go for animation, but before that let me change the position, little scale up, and let me place it. And now we are ready for animation.
I'm sure from this tutorial you got a lot of insights about limited animation as well as animate CC.
This is the end of part 1. For part 2, stay tuned. Find the link below in the description.
Now it's time for tip. For character animation, or your observations are important for any animation stream. It can be motion graphics, it can be character animation, it can be 3D animation, it can be 2D animation, it can be stop motion. Your observations are matters. If you are technically sound great, but if you have good observations, it will help you for long run. So keep observing, keep practicing. Drawing will help you to develop your observations. Don't forget to subscribe this channel, and in advanced playlist you will get lot of character animation and drawing related stuff which will definitely help you in your learnings as well as in your career. Along with that, on our website there is lot of interesting stuff which will add value in your knowledge. So now let's meet in the second part.